guys, it's Alicia.
And I'm Kyra.
And today we are going to bring a new segment to our channel called Chick Chat. As you guys know, we absolutely love beauty and fashion and all those good things, but we also want to kind of talk about different issues that people our age face, especially girls that are in college and things like that.
So we're gonna start by talking about life after college, and we're just gonna go over like our expectations and things that we realized, our experiences, and pretty much share that with you guys, and hopefully, you know, shed some knowledge. So to start off, we're going to talk about our expectations as far as job the job search goes. And you guys don't know, but Alicia and I had two completely different experiences
to graduate.
As you guys know, we went to OU, and I was the engineering major. And in the fall, OU has a huge engineering career fair. It's one of the, I think it's the biggest career fair that they have. It's a huge deal. They have a bunch of companies come out. And I was a lot easier for engineers to find jobs, but you're definitely more likely.
She's not downplayed because she's trying to like be humble or whatever like that, but in reality it's so much more easier for engineers because I don't know, like I guess at our school particularly, like they really focus on
deal.
Engineering is a really big deal at our school, so pretty much like they do like this really big like engineering career fair where
they
it's
have like hundreds of companies, like major companies, smaller companies, and all that. And
so it's so much easier to get internships, full-time jobs, and things like that.
And so after the career fair, that was in September, and I had a bunch of interviews, but I knew by October where it was gonna be. So I knew in October that I had a job, I had an offer, I had signed the paper, I knew it was gonna be in Dallas, working at this company, making this much money and all that. So I had already had all that planned by the end of October.
She had it a little bit easier than me. For me, my experience was completely different. So you guys may or may not know, I am a microbiology major, so I graduated with a microbiology degree, and it was like, the last semester of college, y'all, I was like so stressed because I had to take all these hours trying to finish school, and then I was like literally interviewing like my beginning of the semester all the way to the end, actually until January. So after I graduated, it was just so much harder for my personal experience in my, I guess my major. Not saying that it wasn't easier for science majors, it's just like the field that I wanted to go into was a lot harder to kind of get into that field. So I had it a lot harder, and for me, so I graduated in December 2013, and I actually didn't get a job until January 2014. So I literally was interviewing all semester and after I graduated, and it was just hard because once I graduated, I was debating back and forth between if I wanted to go back to Houston and kind of go back there, stay home a little bit,
save some money, and you know,
like that there, or because I really want to be in Dallas. So it's like, or should I just, you know, just step on faith and eventually move to Dallas to hopefully get a job there. And I had been contacting my job that I'm working at now, back and forth for a while, so I had thought that I might have gotten a job, but I wasn't for sure. So after a lot of debating, I finally decided to kind of just move up to Dallas. And fortunately, after like literally a month after I moved here, and it was Kyra can test for this. Yes. I was like literally like, she was applying to jobs
like all day, every day,
like a month and a half straight.
Right. Like we moved down to Dallas, and I was back to work in a week.
And I was at home
for like a month.
I was like a little bit depressed because I was just, it was just so frustrating. I was like getting impatient. I was like, I just need to, especially going from college, like when you're busy 24/7 to like being at home all day, just applying to jobs on the computer is like the absolute, it's just a big transition. So I was trying to get used to that, and fortunately I finally got a job after moving here after like a month and a half or so. But that whole time period was like just a test of faith, and fortunately I made it through. But
fortunately it worked out, because even whenever she was trying to debate whether or not she wanted to move down here, it was like the question of, okay, well, I know for sure I have to come down here. You know, like what if she came down here and
didn't find a job,
and then I was like with the rent, and then all the bills, and I couldn't afford it, and it was like a bunch of different factors.
And at first I had people telling me maybe you shouldn't do that, maybe you should do this, maybe blah blah, and I was just like, it was just in the point I was
just come home or just stay normal, you know, just like a bunch of different things. But
and I didn't want to go home. It was just back and forth for a long time. Finally I decided to move to Dallas, and fortunately I got through that period of playing the waiting game. Like the whole like month and a half period was like the absolute
And even though it sucks, honestly, that's kind of the norm for most people, honestly.
Yes, exactly. Even longer. Most people
are longer. And I will say, just like a tip for people who are fresh to college or going to college and are wanting to find a job, you know, like right out of college, or you know, want to have something set concrete that's like in their, you know, find a job that's within their career, their major. I would definitely suggest going into a field that you know is going to have a high demand by the time you graduate.
Exactly.
And from what we found, honestly, STEM, which is STEM, which stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math, that to me is, and I mean, we have friends who have, you know, engineering majors, math majors, business majors, journalism majors, you know, marketing,
education. So we know, we have a good idea of how hard it is.
Yeah, how hard it is. And if you want something that's gonna be high demand, like you know for a fact you will almost be guaranteed a job, STEM is like the way to go. Just because society is changing and everything's about technology and everyone needs engineers and things like that. So you definitely wanna, I mean, if you want to find a job that's gonna be guaranteed and all that, STEM, we're in STEM, so STEM is definitely a really, really good field. Just kind of plug it in. So yeah, so what I was saying earlier is that it's honestly the norm to kind of to have but a period of time where you're kind of unsure. And you know, we've seen that with a lot of our friends, a lot of our families like that. You know,
like, we know friends that have gotten masters and still trying to find jobs. So so if you're struggling with it, like
exactly. I mean, don't feel discouraged at all.
We're not alone.
It's normal.
Not settle, because I feel like, especially for your first like out of school, like out of college job and graduate, your first job out of school. It's definitely a really huge deal. Like, you really want to set that foundation for your career, so you don't want to settle for any old thing, especially if you don't even plan to work in that field anytime soon.
Right.
So it's definitely just do not settle. Like, keep your faith and just definitely keep
applying.
Yeah, keep applying.
Eventually you'll get a yes. Exactly.
Yeah, eventually. Out of all the no's, you'll finally get a yes. So just keep pushing and do not settle for anything.
So the next thing we'll talk about is finances. And that is one of the hardest transitioning things for people out of college to being in the real world. So of course, you know, whenever you know, go out on your own and start living on your own, you have bills. You have rent and you have bills. And bills consist of, you know, your rent, you have cable, you have electricity, water.
And especially coming from college, you know how typically you are pretty much living off of like scholarships or your parents' money, or I mean, you might have like a part-time job
here or there, but it's like 10 hours just for gas money or something.
But once you like take that step after graduation, like the real world hits you like that. And so one thing about it is like, it's just a really big difference between like paying for like a phone bill in comparison to paying for like all these different things. And it's pretty much like all about like spending your money wisely, like saving, and just not being all willy-nilly with your money. Like, you know how in your college you just spend money on clothes or whatever you want to spend money on, because you don't have to save for anything. But it's like once you hit the real world, you have to actually really save and like just save, and your bills come first. Prioritize bills always come first,
because at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, you know, paying your bills on time and having credit is going to set you up for your future. So if you don't pay your bills on time, you have bad credit, it's going to be hard for you to get a car, get a house, or whatever. So you definitely, bills are the number one priority. And budgeting is like one of the biggest things that we've learned how to do, because I mean, like you said, in college, you know, you
don't have a budget. You don't have a budget. You don't really have a budget.
I mean, you spend your money like on clothes or like food and gas and not really important stuff, honestly. So for us, you know, it was like it was a hard. Finally got it down, but it was hard trying to figure out how to get into the routine of, okay, I make this much this month, now I have to put this aside for these bills, this aside for this medical expense, this aside for these whatever, student loans, and
it's just a lot.
It's a lot.
It's like all about prioritizing. Make sure that your bills come first and all these things come first, and especially make sure you save, because I know in the past year that we have been here, I have had like numerous amounts of unexpected like bills or unexpected payments to make on the spot. So it's all about
like so much stuff about saving. Saving is so important. One thing as far as like being in the real world and being an adult, you have to take in mind is taxes. Now, so we know we have part-time jobs, so like you get like a little bit of tax taken out here and there.
And it's like taxes didn't really hit
like they weren't major.
It wouldn't like really hit you that hard when you're like having a part-time job.
Right. And so before I came down to Dallas, I was like, okay, this is my salary. I know I have, you know, this much per month. I'm gonna, you know, save this much and spend this much on bills.
I might only have this much for taxes.
Yeah,
I had all that in my head.
No. Whenever we first had our first checks, we were like, where did it go? Like, where's the rest of it?
I had to text my dad and I was like, Dad, like, what the heck is going on? He was like, that's the real world. Like, you have to, you know, deal with it. And it was so shocking, because I didn't know that they take that much. The government. So that's definitely a huge thing you have to account for whenever you're budgeting, because I mean, taxes are real.
Yeah, because you'll expect you'll get this much, and then in reality, you won't even get close to what you thought. So that's really a big thing. And also, one thing that we really realized that has helped us with saving money, and this is kind of fortunate for us, but you know, if you're somebody who is kind of like first out of college and things like that, having a roommate or having someone to split bills with is such a huge deal. It's such a huge lifesaver, especially for the first year. I mean, after that, you kind of just go off and whatever. But for the first year, whenever you first like really get into the swing of, you know, paying bills and saving and all that, like it makes it a little bit easier. Not so much easier, but it's just a little bit easier, because the amount that we save each month, you know, with bills, right, compared to how much we pay on our own, it's like a huge a huge difference.
Just budget. Budgeting is just
budgeting is the key, especially when it comes to student loans.
Okay, so I don't want to go to too much in this topic, but student loans are like, they just hit
The
you.
devil.
Like that, because you know how, okay, so if you have a student loan, it takes about 6 months after you graduate for your deferment period, and then you start paying back. It's like 6 or 7 months.
6 months from graduation date.
So we made our first payment like what, in like August, I think, or something like that. We made our first payment in August, and we knew the loans existed, but we didn't really
think about how much it is, because I mean our parents pretty much like did all that for us. So I mean, like first of all, let's put it into perspective. We were in school for 4.5 years and we were out of state. So that can tell you like how much it is. And the fact that, so like I was saying, okay, it's like we knew the loans existed, but we didn't really know how much.
Because you don't think about, when you're in school, you're just going to school, you don't really think about like actually just how much I don't think about, I'm gonna pay this much when I get out of school. I probably should, but in our reality I really didn't. So it's kind of like it doesn't really hit you until once you graduate and you get that email from Sally Mae saying your deferment period ends such and such time, and
your payment's gonna start this day.
So if you know that you have them, and just prepare your mind,
start
and your
saving,
heart, and your soul for that.
I really wish I would start saving like in college, like
freshman year,
I started like a whole savings account dedicated just to loans. But
it's just like when you're in school, you just think about having fun and going to school, getting good grades, graduating, things like that. The whole like after college doesn't really matter to you. It should, but it really doesn't hit you until once you graduate and walk across the state.
So the next thing we're talking about is social life.
Oh yeah.
And whenever you graduate school, your social life changes tremendously.
Like, okay, so whenever you're in school, you know how you're so used to having all your friends in one area. Like,
I mean, you can like walk to your friend's house, or just like take like a 2-minute trip up the road to go see so and so, or like kickbacks all the time and
go to a party or a club,
and
it's so much easier.
Go to dinner all the time and
But once you graduate, I think it's just so much harder because like all your friends pretty much spread out. Like I know, like for us, like all of our friends and our alliances or things like that are just all spread out. So it's just so much easier to make time to see your friends, or just like having time to actually go grab brunch with somebody or go and get dinner with my. It's so much different.
And then also because like whenever, I mean, not using this as an excuse, but like whenever like you work like a regular full-time job, whenever you get off work, you are tired. I try to do my errands during my lunch break because when I get off work, I want to come home and lay down and lay around and do nothing for the
first night. And so it's like you get so accustomed to that and you just want to come home and sleep and just, relax, chill, like things like that. But like, it's like you don't really realize that you're not really seeing your friends and things like that. So you kind of have to, I don't know, kind of like work how to balance out. Having your youth time and your time to relax, things like that, and then balancing that out with just having your friends or your boyfriend, fiance, husband, and things just stuff like that. Like it's so important to really balance out, because you don't want to look back. Yeah, you want to look back and be like, dang, why I didn't even get out the house? I'm like 30 years old and I didn't get out the house at all. Yeah.
Right. And just because you're working and doing stuff all day doesn't mean, first of all, you have your weekends, which your weekends should be full of fun. And also, like, just because you're working during the day doesn't mean that you can't do stuff that's adventurous. Like for me, like I love to travel, so for me, it's like even though I'm working like a full-time job, I still
just make a way.
Make a way to do what you really want to do.
And it's hard. It's so hard, but it's all about balancing. Like I would hate to look back 5 years from now and be like, dang, I had all this time. Like I thought I didn't have
I wish I started 5 years ago.
Yeah. So like if you want to travel, even if it's like a little bit of like a 2-hour drive, like just get out the house and just experience life. So that is the end of our first segment of our Chick Chat series. We are super excited about doing this for this year because we have been talking about for a while. Just sharing our experiences with you all, and just kind of getting to know you all getting to know us, and just kind of coming together and talking about what women our age face.
Right. And I mean, at the end of the day, like makeup tutorials are fun, and hair tutorials are fun, and fashion stuff and all that is fun, but Alicia and I really started this channel to encourage and inspire and uplift women in general, whether it be women of color, women of our age, younger women, just women in general. And so we think that this whole Chick Chat series is a great way to kind of share our experiences, as well as get some feedback too, and kind of see you guys' experiences as well. So we have like so many different topics, from life to dating to what else, like health stuff, like we have so many different topics in store, and we can't wait to share it with you guys.
So if you guys did enjoy this Chit Chat series, then give it a thumbs up so we can know that you guys are excited as much as we are excited. So hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day, and we'll see you guys in our next video.
Bye guys.
Bye guys.